There's mitigating circumstances where, like I said, it sounded like Jed had to beg to get that amount to get the Ricketts to agree to like take that much of a risk, and it wasn't close. So you can't put it all on Jed. He's got his hands tied. But then it goes to Ricketts, and I've been railing on him for 5 years now. First with the biblical losses, and then last month with the break even mantra, which is
You're definitely
horrific. But
playing that card right now.
I keep asking the question, why does he keep talking to the media? Why, especially at events, especially about money, at events like CubsCon? Um, it's a fool's errand. I'm reading more into it. I've read a couple more articles and something I missed completely happened back in December. Jesse Rogers wrote an article from ESPN 1000, explaining how the Ricketts family sold a piece of the team to an investment group called Arctos Sports Partners, I believe is the name of it. One of some generic uh, capital or venture capitalist investment groups. They happen to own, I don't, there's no word on what percentage they own of the Cubs, but they own pieces of sports franchises around the world. They also own pieces of other Major League Baseball teams, which I find
That
very
seems,
interesting.
yeah, that seems not like
It's like a conflict of interest to own
yeah,
parts of
conflict of
multiple
it. Yeah,
teams.
yeah.
This is a new phenomenon. This was approved by Major League Baseball only 5 years ago. That venture capitalists could invest in teams, and that they can invest in multiple teams. This is under Rob Manfred. But this same group also owns a piece of the Dodgers, which is interesting. But even more interesting is that they own a piece of the Boston Red Sox. I guess even more interesting than that is a part owner of this Arctos sports group is one Theo Epstein. You may have heard of him. So in a convoluted way, he's a part owner of the Cubs and the Red Sox. He's also has a equity partnership with the Red Sox. He's a part owner directly of the Red Sox outside of this investment group. So, and he's been back with the Red Sox organization for at least the last year, and he's been playing an advisory role in addition to his partial ownership role to Craig Breslow, the current Red Sox general manager. And Breslow is actually part of formerly the Cubs front office under Theo and company. So that's where that relationship has extended to. And Breslow gave Theo a lot of credit for helping him figure out how to negotiate this Bregman deal. So so Theo Epstein is like left the Cubs, gone back to the Red Sox, and helped pull off this coup. So there's just a layer of irony to that Theo is orchestrating partial demise for his old friend Jed Hoyer. The other part of this investment group that is troubling and might explain some of the things I've been questioning about Ricketts and his behavior and his why he's talking about money is if you think about it, he's the owner, but he still has to answer to his investors who are only interested in profits. They're not interested in winning and losing. They're not interested in deficit spending. They're interested in profits, and he has to answer to them. And considering how much he had to leverage his own wealth to rebuild Wrigleyville and buy the Cubs originally, I think he might be in a tenuous position, which might be explaining why he's kind of trying to deflect from the money conversation and why they don't spend the way they should be able to spend. If you look at everything on paper, if you think about it, he's kind of playing the role of Roger Goodell that we've seen over the years, where he just plays the meat shield for the owners of NFL teams and just kind of takes all the slings and arrows. And it almost feels like Ricketts has found himself in that position. And it's not just, and I brought this up last week, it's not just crackpot bloggers and amateur podcasters like me that keep bringing this up. There are legit journalists going after Ricketts and the Cubs business model. And last week I was talking about Ken Rosenthal from The Athletic wrote a scathing article. He doubled down and wrote another article this past week. He actually quoted Theo Epstein back when he took over. If not now, when? Talking about the Cubs going for it and eventually winning the 2016 World Series. Ken Rosenthal is applying that quote to Ricketts and saying, if not now, when? The answer from Ricketts is never, apparently. They're never going to completely go for it and go into deficit spending if they have to, not blow the market out of the water like the Red Sox just did for a player that would solve many issues on their roster. So it's a troubling scenario when you kind of peel the layers back and see what's really going on with the Cubs business. It makes me feel a little better. At least I might be understanding why they're not spending. It doesn't help anything, but at least I kept saying, like, Ricketts is not an idiot, so I don't understand why he keeps talking to the media, especially about money, and talking about fans buying a bullshit narrative when you've got among the highest ticket prices, and yet you are not among the highest spenders. I saw another stat. The Tampa Rays actually spent more money this offseason than the Cubs did. So that puts things into perspective, I think. So there's more afoot here. Doesn't solve any problems, but I guess it at least sheds a light on what's really happening behind the scenes with the Cubs and explains how they're going to be in this position going forward. A lot of what other respected journalists like Buster Olney have kind of chimed in on the same thing. They're all kind of pointing to after the 2026 season is kind of what's exacerbating the situation, especially for the Cubs. But that's where the impending labor strife is going to affect baseball in a horrible way. And a lot of these teams and with investment groups see that looming danger and don't want to extend long contracts because they don't know what the financial landscape of baseball is going to look like. If there's going to be a salary cap, very doubtful. But if there's a salary floor, the Cubs, if you look at their payroll, they have 2 players that have guaranteed deals after 2026. One is Shota Imanaga, who's I think it's just a player option for 2027. And then Dansby Swanson goes well past that. So they are positioning themselves for a lockout, essentially. So I think that's really bad news for Cubs fans for the next couple of years. We're just going to see more of this. Hopefully, they win more than 83 games with this model. I think we might see a few more wins, but going above 90 wins, like your Pacoda projections, is I think pushing it. And we'll see how that plays out.
Word Hole Media.